back on with nShift Coffee Chat. So, Cabbar, please, can you introduce yourself and a couple of words on Loqate, please?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Mark. So I'm Cabbar. I'm the partner director here at GBG Loqate. I've been here now for 8 years, covering the UK and EMEA integration partners, which includes carrier solutions such as nShift and others. So that's me in a nutshell. And Loqate, who are we? We're effectively a global leader in global address verification and location data. We're trusted by thousands of businesses in various sectors. We ensure that data's clean, validated to boost efficiency, engagement, and most importantly, trust. And I'll be talking a lot about that, to be fair. But we're part of GB Group. We are GBG, and GBG are leaders, or they are leaders in fraud prevention, digital identity, which in today's world is kind of ever increasing. So that's
Nice.
us.
Perfect. And you mentioned sort of how it impacts on today's world. So can you just maybe speak a bit more on that and just how that impacts on the markets today and the challenges that we see?
Yeah, so in today's world, in today's digital world, trust is everything. So when we talk about customers and organizations, they're often faceless. So accurate data underpins trust. So whether you're verifying a person's identity or checking their credit, ensuring if goods and services, reach them on time or in an orderly manner, whether you're maintaining sort of profitable or long-standing relationships, sort of trust is the main factor. So you need to be able to trust that data. So specifically for retailers, let's say trusting customer data or trusting their supplier data and trusting data overall is ultimately the key factor in that. So yeah, if we look at businesses or merchants, they obviously can't make good business decisions off the back of poor quality data. So what they then see is costs increasing, especially in a cost of living crisis that we have. Retailers only really get one chance when it comes to keeping a customer, which again goes back to the word trust, because everybody needs to trust each other. So so good quality data will effectively mean loyal customers, retained customers, and that's what effectively our tool helps build, really, trust. So in any stage of a transaction.
Yeah, no, sounds good. I mean, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what are the consequences for retailers, brands, shippers if they don't have something like the Loqate solution? What could be the consequences of that inaction?
Yeah, I mean, simplistic terms, yeah, we talk about costs and high costs. They're the sort of simple way of looking at the consequences. But what I like to do is sort of paint a picture of the 1-10-100 rule. So the one being the cost of fixing the problem at the front. So if we take an address, for example, it costs £1 to fix that address at the start of the journey, whereas the 10 is later on in the journey or any part of the journey, which effectively means that it's 10 times more expensive to fix the problem at any part of the journey. And then the 100 then being the cost of doing nothing. So yeah, that then transpires to it being 100 times more expensive, i.e. mis-deliveries, returns, cost of loyalty, and high costs. So yeah, that's how I like to position the consequence of not using a solution like us.
Yeah. And I know it's a bit off piste anyway, but
Mm.
you've mentioned before in conversations that we've had, about that sort of positive friction that you like to get
Yeah.
across when you're talking with retailers, and how it's a balancing act between that positive friction that would help prevent fraud, but also not prevent a seamless transaction process. Could you just speak a bit around that and just sort of how your solutions are helping to sit in there and make that positive friction and what that really means as well?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, that a lot of people think, or a lot of retailers would imagine that by adding a tool at the front end, or by forcing a customer to do something, may add a friction to that journey, i.e., it would impact their conversion rates. But what we see is that that's actually not been the case. So, a good example that I can give you is well, there's lots of examples. So if we work across many sectors and many divisions across the globe. So one of the areas that we're talking about here is retail, really, e-commerce, because that's where the mutual clients are. So I'll give you some sort of let me say use cases, should I say, from existing customers. But yeah, one of the ones that I like to talk about in more detail is Dr. Martens. So they had huge issues internationally, or with international deliveries within their middleware. So around peak periods, they would get huge backlogs of orders coming in, and effectively unhappy customers because orders would be delayed or missed due to poor quality data. So that, their journey at the start before using Loqate was kind of, you could effectively enter whatever you wanted at that front end at the start of the journey. So yeah, this caused huge problems. So we sat down with them, we worked with them to try and understand their journey and their user experience, etc. And they decided to implement email, phone, address capture and verify at that front end. And what that meant is, and what they did by doing that, is forcing customers to effectively enter these three pieces of information. Which is where we get to the positive friction, is which would cause that positive friction, i.e., they would then have to enter those details. But what that meant was that 100% of their orders had valid data, had correct information. But funnily enough, what they then saw was that this had zero impact on their conversion rate. So, that, which was significant, because you would expect some kind of impact on that, but they didn't see any. So this then reduced the likelihood of orders going wrong, and there was no more backlogs, effectively nobody having to manually enter details. So saved a lot of money, but more importantly, it gave them brand loyalty and retention of their customers. But others, you can see on our website, we've got lots of case studies. You'll see the likes of Huel, the sports nutrition brand. They saw reductions in failed deliveries by to less than 0.04%, and Bloom and Wild, the online gift store,